Hey everybody, welcome to Saturday Hockey Talk. I'm your host Slags. Um, sorry, I'm having a bad night tonight. My back is pretty bad, so it's probably going to be a bit of a short episode. But we'll talk about the trade that just happened yesterday, Noah Dobson, and the draft and what happened there at the draft for Montreal. Not a ton, but they picked up a couple of nice looking players in the second round and beyond, I want to say. I watched some of the second, third, and third. I think I watched almost the full. I watched the second and almost the full third round, or second and third. Um, yeah, we'll talk about that, and yeah, I'll try not to. I'll try to get through this, and yeah. So let's see who's here. Is anybody here? Please, people be here. If you're here, say hi to me in the chat and help me out here tonight. Let's see who's here. Renegade Man, hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you out there. Good to see you out there. If you are here, there says there's 4 people here, so yeah, say hi and let's have a conversation about what happened yesterday. So yesterday they pulled off the trade. The day before yesterday, and on Facebook, the whole bunch of us here at Talking Habs and Don't Puck Media, we have a chat. We're always, in and out of there all the time. So I think it was Alex that put up that Dobson, Habs are after Noah Dobson, and looks good. So, I just put, yeah, bullshit. There's no way we're getting that guy. And it turns out that they didn't get him that day, which was Thursday. They didn't get him Thursday. But they did get him on Friday morning, about, I want to say, a couple hours before the draft. The trade came down. Noah Dobson is a Montreal Canadian, a legitimate top 10 defenseman in this league. And they gave up the first 2 picks, which, somewhat considerable, but, more than likely those 2 guys that they would have got at the draft, 3, 4, 5 years before they're here and helping out. And they also gave up Emil Heineman. So think about it. They got a premier defenseman, one of those 20 to 30-minute studs on your blue line every game in the playoffs, that kind of guy. And you gave up 2 draft picks, middle of the first round draft picks. And Emil Heineman, who I loved Emil Heineman, his energy, the way he played and all that. But really? So, an amazing trade by Kent Hughes. I don't see how anybody could not like that trade. And yeah, I can't wait to see what this defense looks like. It gives a lot of options, Reinbacher doesn't have to be here next season. If he's not ready, he's not ready. You leave him in Laval. It allows them a lot more things. They didn't give up Mayu. We all thought Mayu was going to go in a trade, and they didn't. So, I think it's an amazing day they had yesterday, even though we didn't make any picks in the first round. But, I'm pumped for that. So, let me know what you guys think here in the chat, and we'll talk about that. We also have the other draft picks. The only one that really stands out to me is a Russian kid, Alexander Zarovsky, who happens to be a friend of Demidov. Demidov's pretty excited about this. Yeah, they might have gotten a little bit of a steal from that kid. He may be pretty damn good. They got him at 31. They traded 2 picks to trade down and acquire this kid. So they really wanted him, that's for sure. All right, let's see who's here now. Talking to me. Renegade Man says, I didn't lose sleep with the Habs losing their first 2 picks or them trying to acquire a first round. They had those 2 picks were first round picks. So I'm not sure what you're saying. Who would lose sleep over that deal? That was a great deal. I'm sorry. That was just a great deal. How's it going, Robert? Good to see you out there. Renegade says also, I don't know if they're going to get a 2C, but I think they'll give Doc another chance. You can't trade Doc with his value so low. I know there were some rumors about it, but yeah, I mean, if they don't find a 2C, that is the plan. Is Doc will get another season at second line center and see what he can do there. Supposed to be fully healthy. We'll see what happens. Habs drafted 2 goals. I think 3, actually. I think 3. I didn't see the later rounds, but I saw something where somebody was saying they drafted 3 goalies. Habs drafted 2, I believe, is smart for the Habs. Yeah, you got to be drafting goalies every year. You got to be, goalies, not that they're a dime a dozen, but, you got to draft some goalies to get some good ones, I'm not saying it right. Can I say? All right. Anyway, still, if you're here, I see there's 17 people here. Nice. Hey there, Phil. How's it going? Yeah, if you're here, say hi and let's talk about whatever you want. I'll go as long as I can because if I never know when I'm getting them back's gonna sort of try to kill me. Is what is happening today. There are Habs fans that are unhappy losing their first 2 picks. It's a weak draft after 10. Yeah. Well, also, if you're unhappy about the 2 picks that they traded, if it wasn't somebody like Dobson, that type of quality, I get it. But you're talking about a premier NHL defenseman, a power play quarterback, a number 1 or number 2 guy on your team, top pairing guy. Here's his hockey DB. So he played his first season 2019-20, 34 games, didn't do much. Next season, 46 games, got 14 points, didn't do that much. Then 21-22, 80 games, had 51 points. That's pretty damn good. The next year at 49 in 78 games, and then 79 games with 70 points. Last season was a fall off and a hiccup, but I mean, that team there didn't score. The Islanders didn't score a lot. They traditionally don't. So, I think it's just a hiccup. I'm not worried about it. I think we'll see a return of that 70-point guy and potentially, maybe more. I don't know. I don't know what his ceiling is, honestly. But this is a guy in 6 years into the league. He's not a rookie. He's not a grizzled veteran, but I think, he's a veteran. And yet I think Mike Matheson's expendable now. And I think that they are going to move him. And yeah, this guy, I'm happy with this. I think you don't get defensemen like this guy usually without drafting one. So it's not easy to make a trade like this. I don't know what Matthew Darche exactly was thinking and not trying to get Mailloux. I think Reinbacher was off the table, so that wasn't an issue. But you didn't try to get Mailloux. You got Heineman and the 2 picks. I mean, in the end, the Islanders made some good picks with those 2. They weren't able to move up in the draft with those, but I thought they got a couple of quality guys there. So, good on them, but I would have thought you could get more. So Dobson comes here. He's a RFA next season, so no longer because Habs locked him up 8 years. 9.5 is the AAV. 9.5 million for this kid. I have no problem with that. He's going to earn that money, and in a few years with the cap going up, it's not going to be a bad contract. And he's 25, so 8 years. He'll be 33 when it's over. It's not going to be a bad contract. So I'm really happy with that. And I don't know what else I got to say about Dobson. I want to see him play a little more. We only see them, I guess, 3 times. So, yeah. I've never really keyed on that guy for some reason, like watching him play. I just know that this is a premier offensive defenseman. He's probably better defensively than people think. I'm not saying he's great, but, this is a quality player. So, and considering what we gave up, I'm sorry, but man, we didn't give up anything for that. So, all right, let's see. Is anybody talking to me yet? Phil says we have a super good old core. Reminds me of the Predators when they had Weber. Who's Jose? Oh, Eriksson Ek, you mean? Not Jose Ek. It's Eriksson Ek. If that's the guy you're talking about. When they dealt Weber from surplus, did they deal him from surplus per se, or they just were going in a different direction? Plus, his contract was big and long. I don't know. I don't think they dealt him from surplus necessarily, because if they did that, I mean, they acquired Subban. I mean, they replaced Weber with Subban. If they were at such surplus, I don't know that. Anyways, I don't think it's that way. Aiken says, I should put these up there. Sorry. First, we'll go to Renegade Man. I assume that the Islanders will try to move up and get Higgins with the Habs picks. That's what they tried to do, apparently, and they just weren't able to do that. You know, one of the hardest things to do, like you can move up from, into the teens. We see that happen. How often do you see teams move into the top 10, let alone the top 5? Very rarely, very rarely. So it was unlikely to happen. What he should have done is kind of made sure that deal was there before he completed the deal with Montreal, you'd think, right? But anyway, I think in the end he did well. Hang on, I got a cough. That's difficult. I got this from the fan in my room, like a draft on my back. It happened a couple days ago. It's moved from one side to this side now, but yeah, it's a knot there. And if I move the wrong way or I cough or whatever, it hurts like fucking hell. So, but it's better today than it was yesterday. So and I've had this. I get this sometimes twice a year. It's so it's nothing new. It just hurts. That's all. All right. Aiken says, I like the Zarovsky pick at 33. Loads of upside. Yeah, I mean, he does. And then listen, they moved down. It was 34, by the way. They moved down from 39. Anyway, they traded 2 picks to get him. Maybe it was 41 and 67 or something. They traded 2 picks to get this one. They wanted the kid. Plus, he's a friend of Demidov's. That maybe that's a plan. Get him here. Get him to the AHL if you can. Have him living in Montreal. Helps Demidov. You know what I mean? Wait a second now. But Boston, did they move up to get Hannafin? I don't remember. I don't think I watched the draft back in 2015. I only started watching that since I started doing this. Yeah. So, anyways, it was a fun first round. Long though. Jesus Christ! If they do that again next year, somebody ought to shoot somebody because that was ridiculous. And the funny thing about it is, it was put out there like this is it's a new way of doing it. It's gonna be faster. And was it faster? It took over 4.5 hours last night for that first round. That's ridiculous. And then even the second and third round, that took longer than it should have. The second round took 1 hour and 20 minutes, I think. Over an hour anyway. And it's I don't know. Is it a surprise? The NHL, What are you going to do? They don't know how to put on a good event. They did. The only one they did was the draft. Honestly, in my opinion, but they changed it, and that was horrible what they did yesterday. Anyway, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think. And hey, anybody got some questions for me? Anything you want to know? I don't know if I'm ready to do a half-hour monologue about stuff. But I'm in the interest of my pain. I'm going to close my cam for a minute or for a few minutes, and you know what I'm doing. I'm here, though. Don't have to worry. You ain't going anywhere. Joe. Hey, Joe. Joe says, just the players hugging their next of kin took 90 minutes. Yeah, I mentioned that, I think, on the stream we did. It's couldn't they make it, so the guy doesn't have to walk through 40 people and hug them and shake hands before he gets to the stage. Maybe he can do that after when he's off, like it must have taken him at least 3-4 minutes just to get through all the people they had to, family and friends and whatever that were there. It was just way too long. Just way too long. Just all the times they had a trade, they waited the 3 minutes for the team. Then they announced that, there's a trade, and then they gave the next team 3 more minutes. If you eliminated that, because the next team that made the trade goddamn well knows who they're picking and doesn't need 3 minutes to make their next pick, and you had eliminated all that, I swear to God that would have saved a half hour. Kyle Dubas's moves at the draft were questionable. They gave their division rivals, the Flyers, a gift. Well, it's Kyle Dubas. I mean, doesn't surprise me. They tried to copy the NFL model for some reason, but it failed miserably. I mean, I know that. That's what they said, and I have not seen the NFL, so I don't know if it goes fast or not. This didn't work. It did not work, man. The timer meant nothing. Well, that usually meant they had a trade. If they went overtime, they were working out a trade. But still, okay, the trade's worked out. Why are you giving the next team 3 minutes? They don't know who they want. They made a trade to move up. They don't know who they want. That's not possible. So, did somebody not think, maybe they don't need the full 3 minutes? They must be ready right away, but nobody thought of that. No. Idiots that work there. What are you going to do? Aiken says, I like the Mooney pick at 113 too. Yeah, I don't know anything about these guys that came after. Honestly, nothing. So basically all the Habs picks, I don't know much about them right now. I probably should have done a video today to do that, and I usually did that, but I couldn't today. My back is too bad. I wasn't going to do this show. And I really wasn't going to do the show, and I thought, no, it's the beginning of the season. I got to do it. So I'm here. The show must go on, as they say, right? The show must go on. Wasn't that Freddie Mercury, the Queens, their last song that together? The show must go on or something like that? I think so. Hang on, I got to turn the mic off and cough. Better off doing that with the cam off. Oh, yeah. And to think that I actually feel better today from yesterday. Oh, God. I know I'm not sleeping with the fan on for a few days until I can get over this. All right. Well, that got quiet. What else is there to talk about? There were a lot of surprises. Oh, this is something. And I think I said this at some point in one of the streams somewhere. After the Florida win in the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, and the way that their style was basically hammering at the defense, right? Just hammering the defense all the time. I thought that would size would be a thing in this draft. And it turned out I was right, because size was a thing. And no, we're not talking about dick size. Size was a thing. Big guys. And you can look at them and go, geez, really? Look at the number. Why is this guy getting picked? Mostly it's because of the size that they had. I don't know that that's a good thing necessarily. If you're just picking a guy because he's big, yeah, he better be able to play in this league, So anyway, we'll see how it works out for everybody. But I like Montreal did get size from the trade, but the skill level and all that's there. So I'm not, it doesn't bother me. And besides, yeah, we needed to get bigger, and we needed that size on the blue line. Aiken, there were a lot, not just Chicago, just a lot of the picks, and you questioned it, and the guys were questioning it. I went, look at the size of this guy. He's 6'5", he's 6'6", whatever, and that seemed to mean more. It happens. There's been years like that in the Goon era. That's kind of what happened. And believe me, if Philadelphia Flyers beats Montreal in 1976 playoffs for the Cup, the finals, the league is different. Probably even today still. The league would have been different for at least the next 10 years based on the way teams would have drafted to emulate what the Flyers were doing. Thank God that didn't happen. What do we think of? Who is this? Is this one of our picks? I don't know the picks after third round. I saw some of the names, maybe one or two, like on Blue Sky, scrolling through. But I unfortunately don't know much about them because today wasn't a day for me to do my normal post-draft stuff. So hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna get I'll get to work on that. Sam Bennett at Stanley Cup parade speech was pretty funny. I apologize for effing nothing. Now he's getting a huge raise. Yeah, he got 8 times 8. I don't think anybody's surprised that he got signed for 8 times 8. A lot. I mean, maybe people who thought he was going to get 10 million might be surprised, but Blackhawks picked a high school dual sport QB in the first round. Oh yeah, I saw that. And he's not even sure. Like he doesn't even know if he wants to commit to playing hockey. Like, why would you pick a guy like that? I don't get that. And we were talking about it on the stream last night. Let's see, Brady Martin at 5 surprised me a bit. He was a mid-first round pick before the U18s and Florida playoff run. Yeah, it was well known Utah was very high on him and wanted him. And I think they wanted to trade down to take him, but they couldn't find a partner to do it. They couldn't make it. So I think, yeah. And they took him anyway, so. Have I ever seen Oliver Klosov? Yeah. I when I was married, every night I saw my wife with Oliver Klosov. You didn't put that one past me, dude. I saw what you did there, man. I didn't. Did I read that one? No, I did read that one. This one, Masterclass Trade. Canadians have one of the best blue lines now. Well done. It's not fully there yet. There's a little bit of work, but I mean, at some point next season, I mean, this blue line is a force. Is going to be a force, One thing I like about the Dobson trade that I didn't mention, he wanted to come to Montreal. Montreal, when they asked him, we want to move you. I don't know if he had any movement or anything like that. But on his list, whatever list he had, Montreal was at the top, and that's where he wanted to go. And that's where he went. Blackhawks wanted Misa. Well, I think in Frondell they got a pretty good player. They should have traded up if that's the case. What are you going to do? Yes. I said it in the video when the video I did about the Dobson trade. Matheson. It's got to mean Matheson is available. I see them moving Matheson either way, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know what kind of a deal they'll get or where they'll put him and what kind of deal they'll put him in. But do you need Matheson here now? Maybe he's got one season left, I think, on a contract. Maybe he does stay because, Reinbacher might not be ready. And this is a good, with the addition of Dobson, Reinbacher could take another year in Laval. So maybe he stays, and I think he's got 1 year on the contract, so he plays out the contract. They move him at the deadline. But I think trading for Dobson makes Matheson expendable. I mean, I don't see how else you can look at it. I think Mayu could get moved in a trade too, right? They didn't have to move him to acquire Dobson, which was like brilliant. And now they still have that asset to move, or he stays. Either way. I don't know what they plan to do with Mayu right now. I just don't see him having a future with the Habs. I could see it either way, to be honest. But I think you're right. I think they're gonna move Mayu. I don't know if it's for sure, but I think there will be a team that will come a calling for him. They'll offer something good, or they'll find that 2C, and that's the big piece that you're moving on the other side, on the other way, is Mayu. And apparently Beck was offered, and like, so there's some guys they have that they can move to find the guy they want. But in Mayu's particular case, yeah, I feel you're right that he's going to get moved. So he doesn't have a long future. When they're going to move him, I don't know. But I think you're right. We will need to build up Mayu trade value by testing him in the NHL rather than sell low. Yeah, well, I think if they move him this offseason, I don't see how you're going to do that. Right? If they don't, then yes. But I think they're doing that anyway. They're trying to build him up. Will he get a call up or not? You might be right that they do bring him up. He plays a little bit, and somebody comes a calling for him. Darsh made some good picks with 16-17. That's what I said. Doubt either of them have Dobson upside. No. I'll tell you what though, Kashan Aitchison looks like a pretty good talent. He's got offense. He can fight. He's tough. He can fight. He's big. That's a pretty good pick. I don't know a ton about him, and I don't know a ton about Eklund, but I thought they did well for the fact that they were kind of targeting Hagens and obviously didn't get him. Yeah, for a second option, I thought they did pretty good. Renegade Man, I think it's clear that Montreal doesn't want to trade Reinbacher, Hage, and Fowler either, obviously. But Reinbacher, I believe they were asked for Reinbacher in this deal at first, or after they had made their formal offer. I think one of the counters was they wanted Reinbacher, and Habs said no. You're talking about Aitchison? Yeah, apparently this guy can fight. He hits hard. He's a big dude. He's 6'5". Maybe I'm wrong on that big, but he's 6'3" for sure, if not bigger than that. It wasn't the strongest draft, but there's some kids that definitely are going to hit the league. There's some good ones there, and yeah, it was a fun first round. We had a lot of fun. It was just too long. That's the only thing I would say. So I really hope next year they fix this draft the way they're doing it. This is not good. And then the very first one, I thought that was horrible for the poor kid Schaefer, who lost his mother recently, right? And so they get him up there. He already, when he first got up there to put the sweater on, you could see he was having trouble, keeping it together. And then when he gets, they bring him to another room where they meet by video, the team, whatever. And the girl that's interviewing has to ask about that, the mother and all that. Like, you want it on purpose to make the kid cry. I thought that was so cringe and so awkward, and that should not have happened. The first part where he did when he was standing next to Bettman, I get that. You can't change that part. They didn't have to do that to the kid the second time. But good on him. He held it together. He accomplished something getting drafted first overall, that's for sure. So it's a feel good story with Schaefer. Anybody else with any questions? Agreed. They even kept asking about him. I'm gonna read that again. Agreed. They even kept asking about him about it. Excuse me, in the follow up interviews. Yeah, I mean it's why keep pushing that? You saw how the kid was, and I know why, because that makes for good ratings. And if that really you do that to an 18-year-old kid for ratings, like really, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, really, the reason they did it was for the ratings. We all know that. They could deny it if asked, but it's the reason they did it. Hey, Guru, would Matheson take a team-friendly deal to help with the young defenseman? I don't think that's the question, really. It's not about whether he'll take a team-friendly deal. Like, he wants to stay here. They don't have a spot for him anymore at this point, right? For what he should bring to a team, that spot is gone. And when they play him in a different role, it doesn't work for him. So there's really, they got to move him. He's not going to be as effective, in my opinion. Like, I don't think there's a spot here. It's unfortunate. I like Matheson a lot, but you got to improve the team to get better. And if that meant they brought in a kid younger than Matheson, overall better talent in a lot of areas, and then you got Hudson. Where's Matheson going to play? You kind of can't have three of the same guy like that. It's kind of three of the same type of player. You can't have three of them, I don't think. You could say, well, you could have one on each line, but you don't need that guy on the third pairing. First two pairings, sure. I want to have more of an offensive guy and a defensive guy matched up. Third pairing, I don't know that that's as important. And then where's Matheson going to play? Third pair? I don't know. Whoops, that's not where I meant to go. Matheson met with the Habs brass recently during the draft combine. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I didn't hear what came from that. I don't know if they announced what came from that, but I can't. I can't. They're not going to make him a forward, Joe. They're not. He's a defenseman. He's a good guy. Helped us these past years despite his flaws. I'm a Matheson fan. I don't dislike the guy. I'm not one of those. I gotta get rid of him. He's crap because he makes mistakes here and there. I'm not one of those guys. So, but I don't see a role for him here at this point. I guess they should have traded him when his value was high. But they know they're going to get Dobson. But he was a great mentor for the kids. Hudson is obviously the number one defenseman on the team. Yeah, I mean, listen. They could have traded him back then, but they needed him here. I wouldn't have suggested they trade him. But now, considering Hudson's here and we know what he can bring, and you got Dobson and we know what he can bring, I don't see a spot for Matheson here. And the defensive, he's not really great in a defensive role. And so you're putting Matheson in more of a defensive role. That's not a good role for him. And in my opinion. Well, in the playoffs though, Aiken, I mean, listen, they were outmatched. That's all. They were outmatched. It's one of the reasons why they got Dobson. They saw how they were outmatched, and they went to get more size on defense, and they wouldn't get banged around as much. That's how I see it. You know, got younger. I know Dobson's not overly physical player, but doesn't mean that he can't become a little more physical and whatever. Well, anyway, we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I mean, listen, in the playoffs, basically the team itself struggled hard, not just Matheson. Matheson definitely helped the Habs through tough times. Yes, he did. Like I said, I like Matheson. It's no knock on Matheson. What I'm saying, it just there is no role for him here now. I don't think, and I think he'd probably agree with that. Got to unload some. I don't know that they'll. I don't know that they'll move him right away. I kind of see instead of the thought that they'll re-sign Matheson. I don't think that'll happen now. Obviously, and they'll move him probably by the deadline, if not before that. That's how I see it. Oh, just give me a second. I'll be on cam for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take off. Oi. Oh. Where was I? Dobson won 2 Q and 2 Memorial Cup titles. What team did he? Well, he's from PEI, so I imagine he played for one of the, maritime teams. I don't remember Dobson before he got hit the NHL at all. I didn't know about him at all. So Demidov should be the favorite to win the Calder Trophy, barring any injuries. Probably. Yeah, I would think if he's not the favorite, he's amongst with the favorite or co-favorite or something. But yeah, he was in the KK draft. Yes, he was in the KK draft. That's right. 2018. I first when I was thinking about it, I thought it was the Caulfield draft, but no, it was the KK draft. The KK. Only Habs fans know it as the KK draft. That's for sure. Yeah, I didn't know where he played. Aiken. Acadie, Bathurst, and Rouyn-Noranda. Well, we got one of those D-men that went in that draft, Aiken. I'm very happy for that. I really like this trade. I really, really like this trade. Honestly, I think it probably puts them into contender status probably about a year earlier than they might have. So instead of 3 years down the road where they'd be contenders, I think they can maybe move that up by a year. Which Hughes are you talking about? Not Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes was 2019 with Caulfield. The new regime, Renegade Man, would never have taken KK in the draft. Again, I figured it was Quinn, but I just wanted to make sure who you were talking about. Again, that 2018 draft, I started doing this at the end of 2018. So I didn't watch the draft then. I don't think I ever watched the draft until I started doing this. So 2019 would have been the first one for me. All right, guys. I'm going to take off. I know it's kind of sudden, but my back's really killing me here. Um, Only 20 minutes short, so it's not that bad. Let's see what's coming up. Tomorrow, and we don't know yet if this is going to happen or not. On the Bruins podcast we do on the other channel, we're supposed to have David Backus as a guest, so I'm really looking forward to that. To getting to meet him and directing that show. But we haven't got confirmation, so we don't know yet. We'll find out tomorrow at the appointed time if he's going to show up or not. So either way, if you like the High Brew podcast, look for it on Monday. But if you just want to see for David Backus, that would come out on Monday. What else do I have for members? I'm going to be doing a members only reaction video tomorrow. And then next Sunday, not this one, we'll do another live stream. Monday is the Pucking Around podcast. And I think we're moving Habnormal's recording date to the day of the week to Sunday. We agreed not to do it tomorrow. We got too many things going on. But the week after, Habnormals will make its return. And just to show you, got a new logo for Habnormals. And this is available at the store. Down there, you see that? No, this is available there. This is a t-shirt. It's available in all those colors. There's a mug. I designed this 2 days ago, I think. And a nice hat. And like I said, available in all those colors. So check it out. Check it out, my friend. At that where the arrows are pointing down there, that's where the store is. There is like 36 or 37 designs, different products, and all kinds of colors for everything. So check it out. And I will be getting some in the next couple of weeks. So I'll be able to be wearing them and show you. All right, that's it. My cat, you can hear him crying. He's saying it's time to go. Thanks for watching tonight. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you I'll see you on the flip side in something. And we'll do, obviously, next week, Saturday Hockey Talk, be back. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there till next time. Peace out, y'all. And have a good rest of Saturday night. Still early. Have a good night. Ciao, everybody.